One of the greatest mysteries in human history, a civilization full of legends, a continent that sank beneath the waves one morning, never to be found again. Yes, I'm talking about Atlantis. For thousands of years, philosophers, scientists, archaeologists, and explorers have all asked the same question. Was Atlantis real, or was it just a myth? Today I'll take you on a journey through one of the most mysterious stories in all of human history. If you're ready, let's turn the dusty pages of time. Chapter 1. The origin of the Atlantis legend. The legend of Atlantis begins with the ancient Greek philosopher Plato, around 360 BC, in his two dialogues, Timaeus and Critias. Plato described a lost civilization called Atlantis. According to him, Atlantis was located in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, beyond the Pillars of Heracles, which we now know as the Strait of Gibraltar. It was said to be older than Egypt, a vast and powerful maritime empire. The Atlanteans possessed advanced engineering and architecture, building grand palaces, temples, canals, and magnificent cities. They were not only intelligent but also spiritually advanced. However, as time went on, they became corrupted by greed, arrogance, and defiance of the gods, and as punishment, the gods sent a great catastrophe. In a single day and night of misfortune, the island of Atlantis disappeared into the sea. Plato, Critias. But was Plato describing a true historical event, or was this merely a moral allegory, a story meant to teach humanity a lesson? That question has puzzled people for over 2,000 years. Chapter 2. Where could Atlantis be? When Plato said beyond the Atlantic Ocean, it seemed clear enough. Yet countless theories have emerged about where Atlantis might have been. Some believe it was near the Azores Islands, others think it was in the Caribbean or the Bahamas, and a few even claim it lies beneath the ice of Antarctica. But why so many theories? Because no archaeological evidence has ever proven the existence of Atlantis. Still, there are intriguing clues. Excavations on Santorini Island uncovered remains of the Minoan civilization, a highly advanced society destroyed by a massive volcanic eruption around 1600 BC. The explosion was so powerful that it wiped out most of the island and disrupted civilizations across the Aegean Sea. Some scholars suggest that Plato may have heard stories of this disaster and used it as inspiration for his Atlantis myth. In other words, Atlantis could be a mythologized version of a real catastrophe. Chapter 3. In search of the lost civilization. The story of Atlantis didn't end with Plato. For centuries, explorers, archaeologists, occultists, and even NASA scientists have searched for this mysterious land. In the 15th century, Christopher Columbus believed that his voyage to the New World might lead him to Atlantis. In the 19th century, writer Ignatius Donnelly published his book Atlantis, The Antediluvian World. He claimed that Atlantis was the cradle of all human civilizations, that the Egyptians, Mayans, and Incas were all descendants of Atlanteans. Then came the 20th century and the rise of underwater archaeology. Off the coast of the Bahamas, divers discovered the so-called Bimini Road, a mysterious underwater formation of stones. Some said it was the remains of Atlantis, but geologists later explained it as a natural rock formation. Even today, satellite images, sonar scans, and ocean mapping projects continue, yet no one has ever been able to declare, this is Atlantis. Chapter 4. What does science say? Most scientists believe that Atlantis is purely mythical. They argue that Plato invented the story as a moral warning to humanity, a symbol of how pride and corruption lead to destruction. But a small number of researchers disagree. They believe that sudden natural disasters throughout history may have erased traces of once advanced civilizations, perhaps like Atlantis. At the end of the last ice age, around 12,000 years ago, global sea levels rose dramatically, submerging countless coastal regions. So maybe the story of Atlantis is a symbolic retelling of that global flood. Some studies even suggest that beneath the ice sheets of Greenland or Antarctica, there could be traces of ancient human settlements, though none of these claims have yet been confirmed. Chapter 5. The meaning of Atlantis. Atlantis is more than just a place. It's an idea. A story that reminds us how easily humanity can destroy itself through arrogance and excess. Perhaps Plato's message was never Atlantis existed, but rather if greed and pride take over, every civilization will eventually sink. History has proven this time and time again. The Roman Empire fell to arrogance and decay. The Maya exhausted their resources. And today, modern civilization may be building its own Atlantis through environmental collapse. Maybe the secret of Atlantis doesn't lie beneath the ocean. Maybe it lies within us. Chapter 6. Final words. Maybe Atlantis never existed, or maybe it truly did, only to vanish beneath the sands of time. But one thing is certain. Atlantis has become a symbol of human imagination, curiosity, and the endless quest for knowledge. Perhaps we don't need to find Atlantis, because we've already lived it, over and over again. And who knows? Maybe one day in the silent darkness of the ocean floor, an archaeologist will uncover an ancient tablet, and carved upon it, a single word, Atlantis.